Namaskar everybody and welcome to our 54th day of the Ramayana Satsanga. Lakshmeenatha Samarambham Nathayamunamadhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yo Nityamachyuta Padambuja Yugma Rugma Vyamo Hatastavitarani Trinaya Mene Asmadgurur Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारी परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचेत सादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. With prayers at the lotus feet of Sri Rama and Acharyas, let us take up our topic for today. So yesterday we saw how Mandodari recognized the true nature of Rama, and then we also saw how Hanuman was sent to Sita to convey the good news that Ravana had been killed and that Rama was waiting for her. Now, Vibhishana goes further to meet Sita and he conveys to her that Rama has told you to come to him. And he conveys that Rama has said that you should have a bath and you should decorate yourself, do Alankara, and come to him. Now, Sita, when she hears this, she is surprised. She says, no, I have been like this in this dirty condition. I have not had bath. I have not eaten anything. I've been like this without any Alankara for all these months. And that is how I want to go and see Rama. But Vibhishana says, no, Rama has insisted. It is his wish that you should do Alankara and come. And therefore, Sita thinks that, okay, after all, if Rama is telling, then it is his wish, then it is like a command for me. So she agrees and she gets ready. She does all the Alankara, the women there help her. And she comes. Now she's brought in a pallaki, in a palanquin. And as she's coming, there's a big commotion because she is being carried in that palanquin. The Rakshasas are carrying her, right? Then all these Vanaras, they are all very eager to see who is this Sita. For this woman's sake, we have fought such a big war and come all the way far from our own families and all that. So they are also very eager to see her. And so there's a big commotion. All these Vanaras start rushing around to look at her as the palanquin passes. And those Rakshasas are shooing them away and hitting them and all that. So Rama gets very angry to see that his Vanaras are being treated so badly. So he says that what is the need for Pallaki and all that? Let Sita get down and walk and come. There is no need for her to be carried in the palanquin. There itself, he starts showing his, discontent. So, as told, the palanquin is kept down. Sita comes out and she starts walking, and with so much joy in her heart, with a beautiful smile on her face, with all that hope and aspiration that she has held on to for all these days. Finally, she is going to see Rama. She comes and she walks and comes close to where Rama is. But seeing her, Rama makes a very hard-hearted face, and he says, "Yat kartavyam manushena gharshanam pratimarjata tat kritam ravanam hatva mayedam manakankshina." I have done this act of killing Ravana, which any man should have done, because I don't want that insult. He insulted me by carrying away my wife. So I have given him the punishment. And I want to prove the honor of my Kula, of my Ikshwaku Vamsha. And don't think that I did this war for your sake, but I did it to keep up my name in this world. And like that, Rama says. So Sita is shocked to hear this harsh voice of Rama and saying all this. Further, he says even more harsh things to her. He says, "Now that I have freed you from Ravana, you have been with this in this Ravana's custody for all these days. So there is no need for you to think that you have to live with me. You can go wherever you like. There is no duty that you owe me. It was my duty to kill Ravana, so I have killed him. But there is no reason for you to continue to live with me. You can choose whomever you want as your future husband. You can choose Lakshmana or Bharata or Shatrughna, or even you can choose Sugriva or Vibhishana. Whoever is comfortable to you, you choose them and you decide whom you want to live with henceforth." And hearing these harsh words from Rama, Sita is shocked. She has been hanging on to the thought of Rama for all these months. She's been a Pativrata and she's stuck on to her honor and her, uh, you know, uh, thought, holding on to this thought that Rama is going to come and protect her and accept her. And now, when Rama says such harsh things to her, she's really shocked. First of all, she has never heard such harsh things from Rama, even when they were ever alone and in private. Now, in public, for the first time in her life, she's hearing him say all these rude things to her and such shocking things also. So she starts trembling. She doesn't know what to do. She starts crying. Her eyes are full of tears and she's shaking like a creeper. It shakes when it loses the support of the tree, like that she's shaking. And then she decides that there is no point in me living if this is what I have to bear and hear for something which I have not done wrong. If I'm getting blamed for it, then what is the purpose of continuing with my life? So she calls out to Lakshmana. She says, Chitam me kuru sau mitre vyasanas yasya bheshajam मिथ्यापवाद मिथ्या अपवादोपहता नाहम जीवितु मुत्सहे. O Lakshmana, you create a chitta here, create a pile of fire, and I will enter into it. That is the only remedy. This disastrous thing that has happened, that is the only aushadhi for this. That is the only remedy for this. I don't want to survive because I have been told all false blame has been put on me. I don't want to survive, she says. Now, Lakshmana is also shocked at this turn of events. He has seen the sorrow that Rama has felt when he separated from Sita. He has seen how Rama has been crying out for Sita, not eating, not sleeping, not resting, and how this huge, this Ghor Yuddha has been waged against Ravana. Seeing all that, he's shocked that what is my brother saying? So he turns and looks at Rama's face, but he understands that Rama is telling with a purpose in his mind, and he understands that his brother's decision is final, and so he creates that fire. Now, what Sita does is, as soon as the fire Agni is created there, Sita goes around Rama once. She does a pradakshina and she makes some satyas. She takes some vows and she says that Karmana manasa vacha yatha nati charamyaham raghavam sarvadharmagnyam tatha mam patu pavakaha. O Agni Deva, if it is true that I have never been unfaithful to Rama in my actions, in my thought, or in my speech. This Rama, who knows all virtues, he is Sarvadharmagnya, he knows everything, and yet he is saying these things to me. If it is true that I have never been unfaithful to him, then, O Agni Bhagavan, O Agni Devata, you please protect me, she says, and she enters into the fire. Everybody is screaming in shock at what has happened here. How could Sita enter like that? Rama's eyes are full of tears as he is watching this, but still he is silently standing and he is not trying to stop her from doing what she is doing. At that moment, all the devatas appear in the sky. Brahma comes there, Shiva comes there, Indra comes there, all other devatas come there and they are all praising Rama. They say, Rama, you are Lord Himself. How can you say such things to Sita? You know she is Lakshmi Devi and you know that she is pure. And how could you say such things? How could you quietly watch when Sita entered the fire? They are asking her. And what the devatas say is all this. And Rama tells them, very haughtily, he tells them, I don't know anything. I am not any divine person. What I think of myself is that I am Rama, the son of Dasharatha. Atmanam manusham manye, Ramam Dasharathatmajam. Soham yasya yatschaham, Bhagavamstad abravitume. I am thinking that I am a human being. I am just a Manushya. My name is Rama. I am the son of Dasharatha. That is all that I know. You are all divine beings. And you are saying that I am a divine being, but I don't know about it. According to me, I am Rama, who is the son of Dasharatha. And at that point of time, Brahma starts speaking and he does stuti, he does praise of the Lord. He sings a stotra in praise of the Lord. He says, Bhavan Narayano Devaha, Shrimans Chakra Yudha Prabhu, Ekashringo Varahastvam, Bhuta Bhavya Sapat Najit. You are Lord Narayana himself. You are that glorious Lord who is having the Chakrayudha. You are the one who came as Varaha. You are the one who is conquering all the enemies at all points of time. Sharanga Dhanva Rishi Keshaha, Purusha Purushottamaha, Ajita Khadga Dhrug Vishnuhu, Krishnaschaiva Mahabalaha. You are the one who wields that bow called Saranga. You are the one who is the Lord who has conquered all the senses. You are Rishikesha. You are the supreme Lord of the universe. You are Purushottama. You are the best of men. You are Purusha. You are somebody who cannot be won by anybody. You are Ajita. You are the one who has this sword called Nandaka in your hand. You are the one who is pervading this entire universe, and you are the one who is the most mightiest person, and you give joy, you bring happiness to this entire earth. This is your true Swarupa, says Brahma. And like that, he says many shlokas praising the divine qualities of Rama, who is none other than Sriman Narayana himself, who has incarnated here. So Brahma tells all that. He tells that you are the one who were in Shirabdi, the Devatas, we all came to you, begging you to destroy these Rakshasas. And therefore, you took this avatar as a human being, as Rama, as son of Dasharatha. But although you may be appearing like a human being, this is your real Swarupa. And the minute Brahma finishes saying all these things, the very next moment, Agni Devata appears in the fire and he brings Sita out without a single hair on her body being harmed. He brings that golden Sita, that beautiful, pure Sita out in his arms, and he tells Rama, Abravittu tada Ramam, Sakshi lokasya pavakaha, Esha te Rama Vaidehi, Papamasyam na vidyate. This Sakshi, this Agni Devata, who is Sakshi for the entire world, he comes to Rama and he tells Rama, he hands over Sita to him and he says, here is your Sita. There is no Papa in her. No Papa can ever attach to her. This is your Sita, he says. And here the Acharyas say that we must remember this word, te Vaidehi, your Sita, your Vaidehi. And when Agni Devata himself comes and gives this certificate, then Rama is very happy. He is delighted. Now the tears are flowing out of his eyes. He has a beautiful smile on his face. And he says, I also know Sita is pure. But I did not want that people should misunderstand Sita. People should not think that I am so carried away with lust for Sita that I will accept her just like that. Balisho Batakama Kamatma Ramo Dasharathatmajaha Iti Vakshyati Mam Loko Janaki Ma Vishodhyahi. The world would chatter against me. Everybody in this world would talk bad things about me, saying that this Dasharatha's son, he's so foolish and he's so carried away with lust and desire for Sita that he never examined her purity and chastity and accepted her just like that. So that people should not say these things about Sita. Therefore, I had to subject her to this test of purity. That is how Rama explains his behavior. And then he accepts Sita, and very happily, they now are again united, overcoming all the grief, all the sorrow, all the sadness of the past few months and the past few moments also. Now, here the Acharyas explain to us in depth about this whole episode of Agni Pravesha. There are so many people, even till today, who blame Rama, who say that was it necessary for Sita to prove her chastity? Was it necessary for her, to get a certificate from Agni Devata? But the deeper meanings in this, Acharyas explained to us. So, if you remember, Rama had sent word that Sita should do Alankara and come. Why? When Sita said she doesn't want to do Alankara, she wants to come in that pitiable condition only, Rama's message was insisted upon. Because here the Acharyas say that if she had come in that Dina Bhava, if she had come in that pitiable state, right, he would never have been able to get angry with her. And all this is a play which Rama has staged for the sake of the entire world. So if she had come in that stage, he would not have been able to play his role in that drama that he's going to enact. And therefore, he wanted her to do Alankara and come as if she has been living a good life. Then, when she comes in front of him, there is actually one shloka where Valmiki says that Rama said this. Prapta charitra sandeha mama prati mukhe stita deepo netra turasyeva pratikulasi me dridam. You, he's telling Sita that there is a suspicion on your character and you're standing in front of me like this. And it is so disagreeable for me to look at you. Just as a person who has poor eyesight cannot see a bright lamp. So when he says this, the acharyas are explaining that from the way he has worded this shloka itself, we can make out what is Rama conveying. He's saying that if somebody has poor eyesight, then for such a person, seeing the bright lamp gives lot of pain to them, to that eyes, to their vision, because they are having poor eyesight. What is the message being conveyed here? The problem is with the one who is having some problem in their eyesight, in their vision. The problem is not with the lamp. So, also in this situation, the problem is not with Sita. The problem is with the people of this world who are going to look with suspicion on her character. Does it mean Rama is having suspicion about her character? Definitely not. Rama knows the truth. Rama also knows that she is so Tejasvi that she could have burnt Ravana and entire Lanka right from the moment when he tried to kidnap her. He knows everything, but he cannot say all that to the entire world, isn't it? So he's talking as if he's talking on behalf of the world. So he's saying that for somebody who is having some problem with their eyesight, the lamp light is very painful. So the problem is with the people who have the wrong vision, isn't it? So that is what the acharyas explain here. If the world is going to look upon Sita with suspicion, with sandeha, then they are the ones who have the problem. No, there is never any problem with that lamp. There is never any problem with the character of Sita. Now, why is it that despite all these things, why all this drama? Why Sita had to enter the fire? So here the acharyas explain. First, they tell us that you remember when Sita spoke very harsh words to Lakshmana. Whatever may have been the situation, whatever may have been her anguish, but there is no justification ever in the Lord's eyes to someone who speaks ill, who speaks harshly and rudely and insults his bhaktas. So Sita was guilty of the sin of Bhagavata Pachara. She is not guilty of sin of having anything wrong with her character. That is definitely not there. But she did Bhagavata Pachara. She spoke rudely, harshly, insultingly to Lakshmana. She said rude things to him. And to atone for that sin, she had to undergo this prayashchitta. She had to undergo this punishment. So, what here the Acharya says, the Lord conveys to us that for him, always the bhaktas are very, very more important than even his own Devi. Even if it was Sita herself who did Bhagavata Pachara, in reality, Mahalakshmi Devi is not capable of doing anything like this. We already have seen so many times that she is the one who is always compassionate to the bhaktas, right? But here, she has taken on this role to teach a lesson to all of us. And in that role, she has committed this aparadha of Bhagavata Pachara. And therefore, she had to undergo this punishment of Agni Pravesha. That is what the Acharyas explain. So this actually is a lesson for all of us that if we do Bhagavata Pachara, we will have to bear very harsh consequences somewhere at some point of time in our life. So we must never ever make the mistake of talking rudely and insultingly about people who are bhaktas of the Lord. Now we may think that I am talking about somebody, they are not bhaktas of the Lord. I am just insulting other people. I am saying rude things to other people. But do we know who is a bhakta in the Lord's eyes? Do we know what bhakti all these people around us are doing? Do we have any idea about that? We don't know. And moreover, the acharyas say that it could be that they were bhaktas in past janmas. It could be they are going to soon become bhaktas in this janma. It may be that they are already bhaktas, but we don't know about their bhakti. So, from our viewpoint, each and every person is to be considered as a bhakta of the Lord. And therefore, we should never be rude, never be insulting, never say painful things to anybody in our surroundings. That is the lesson we have to learn. Then, further, the Acharyas explain that it is not told in the Valmiki Ramayana, but in the Padma Purana and in the Venkatachala Mahatmyam, it is told that at the time when Ravana came to kidnap Sita, now Sita and Rama, both of them knew that this is going to happen. Ever since they had destroyed those Rakshasas at Janasthana, Rama knew this is going to happen. This is the event for which his avatara only has taken place, isn't it? So Rama and Sita both were aware, and it had been decided that at the time when Ravana comes, Sita would enter into the Agni. And this was discussed with Agni Devata. So at that point of time, when Ravana came there, Sita had entered into the Agni, the real Sita, the actual Sita. And Agni Devata had brought out one Maya Sita. Who was this Maya Sita? This Maya Sita was the Vedavati who had jumped into the fire when Ravana had tried to molest her. And she had told that I will be the cause of your death, isn't it? That Vedavati was brought out of the fire in the form of Sita. So she was the Maya Sita. And when Ravana kidnapped Sita, he never kidnapped the actual Sita. He had kidnapped that Vedavati, the Maya Sita. Now that Ravana Samhara has taken place, Rama has to get back his actual Sita, isn't it? So, for that to take place, this Maya Sita entered into the fire, and then whom Agni Devata brought back is the real Sita. And that is why, if you remember, I said that he is telling Esha te Rama Vaidehi. This is your Sita. What does he mean by saying your Sita? He could have just said this is Sita, but he's saying your Sita to distinguish that this Sita who has come is your actual wife and she is not the Maya Sita. So that is the reason why this entire drama was enacted. Acharya has explained to us that this entire episode is so well coordinated by Rama. He acted as if he rejected Sita, right? He was so sorrowful at losing her. He was so distraught when he lost Sita. He never had a moment of rest, a moment of peace after losing her. Is it possible for somebody like that to say things like this to Sita? That you are, I don't know about your character. You can go and choose anybody else. You don't have to come and stay with me. I did whatever I did for the sake of my dharma as a king to protect the name of my Raghukula. There was no need for him to say all this. But he enacted this entire drama because he wanted that if he does not do this now, then tomorrow the entire world is going to cast aspersions on her character because people of the world are full of Rajotamo guna. They don't have the Satvikata to understand the innocence of Sita. So they would have commented. So he made sure that by allowing this event to unfold like this, all the devatas came there and declared the innocence of Sita. All the devatas, including Agni, came there, and Agni himself brought her out and said, she is not having any sin attached to her. She is pure. She is your Sita. And this ensured that in future, nobody ever points fingers at Sita. Now, what happened because of this incident? Sita does not get blamed anymore. But till today, people talk about how Rama was unfair. People talk about how Rama was so hard-hearted. People talk about Rama being wrong in subjecting Sita to the Agni Pariksha. So to save Sita from being blamed, Rama eternally took that blame by behaving in this manner. And that is the point that the Acharyas try to make us understand. We have to understand all these aspects so that we know that whatever the Lord and Devi do, it is for the benefit of all of us who are their children. And it is not for us to sit in judgment here and to say whether Rama was right, to say whether Sita was right. The Acharyas explain that all this is a krida, it is a leela which is done by the Lord to teach us that how circumstances in our life can go against us. But if we have stuck to the path of dharma, then always we will come out of it stronger and purer and without any blemish attaching to our name. So let us understand these aspects. If there are people who talk about such things, let us try to explain this to them. If we are not able to explain, at least in our mind, let there never be a doubt that Rama behaved in an unfair manner. Let us understand the situation in which he behaved like this, why he created this entire drama, and let us not allow this to come in the way of our bhakti to the Lord. Let us pray. Let us offer gratitude to the Lord that we have acharyas who explain all these deeper aspects to us. Let us feel grateful that we are in this Bharat Bhumi where we have so many sources of knowledge which are available to us. Let us be grateful for all these things that we have. And if we have faith, then there is nothing that can be difficult for us. If we stick to the path of Dharma, we will always come out triumphant. It may take time, but we will always win. With that attitude, we should look at these events. So let us stop here for today. There are few more events. We will cover them in another one or two satsangs. So for today, we will stop here and offer gratitude at the lotus feet of Sri Rama and our acharyas and pray for their blessings and grace to always be on us. Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunabdhaye Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam Veda Vedanta Vedyaya Megha Shyamalamurtaye Pumsam Mohana Rupaya Punyashlokaya Mangalam Pitrabhaktaya Satatam Pratrabihi Sahasitaya Nandita Lokaya Ramabhadraya Mangalam Srimate Raghuviraya Setu Langita Sindhave जितराक्षसराजाय रणधीराय मङ्गलम् मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्. Thank you everyone. We'll meet again tomorrow and see what happens next. Namaskar.